Thank you so much for tuning into the San Mateo Public Library. My name is Adriana and this is Kitchen Science. And today we'll be making some slushies. This is the same process for making homemade ice cream. A quick and easy way that's great for kids.
Alrighty, so let's get started. And as I said before, we are going to be making a little slushie, but you can definitely do this to also make ice cream. And if you have even bigger sized little Ziploc bags, that will help you make a larger quantity. So ideally you would use a quart size bag and a gallon bag, but all I had at home was a quart size bag and a sandwich bag. So the sandwich bag is what is going to be the size that I can eat from today. But if you have a gallon size bag, then you can definitely use a bigger bag, and that means you'll also need more ice. So for what you will need, 2 baggies of different sizes. You'll also need ice. You can use table salt, or you can use ice cream salt, so rock salt. It really just depends on what you have at home. Both work fine. So for this one, because probably more people have plain salt, I'm going to use plain salt. And I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup. You could probably use as little as a tablespoon, but I like to use a little bit more salt. And then you're going to need 1 cup of some type of liquid, so a drink. And then to help with the shaking, I would suggest having a towel, or if you have some really sturdy mittens, you can use some mittens because it does get cold when you start shaking. So let's go ahead and start putting everything together in the bag. So in the sandwich bag, you are going to put your liquid, so the thing that you want to turn into a slushie, so it can be juice, flavored water, soda, whatever you want. And then you're going to try and squeeze as much of the air out as possible. Make sure that that is nicely sealed. In your bigger bag, this is where you're going to put the ice and the salt. So you want to fill about a little less than half the bag if possible, especially if it's smaller ice. Whoops. Whoops. Looks like that's all I can muster. Let me stick that back in. And then I'm going to do more salt than necessary because I like to use more salt. But just remember, you only need about 1 tablespoon to really make this work. So I'm actually going to do, it looks like it's half of 1/3 of a cup. I'm just going to pour it into my ice. I'm going to see if this fits inside and get that as close down to the ice as possible. Now you're going to seal your bigger bag, make sure everything's in there. And make sure everything is nicely sealed, because if your liquid in that sandwich bag opens up and starts spilling, you're probably not going to want to eat it because it's going to taste very salty. So now I wrapped it up in my little towel and I'm going to shake as hard as I can. So I'm going to speed this process up with the magic of technology, and I'll be back with an update. All right. So I shook my bag for about 5 minutes because that's all I really wanted to do. If you shake longer, as long as your ice isn't fully melted, it'll continue to have an effect on your little bag. So now I'm going to carefully take my little bag out. And fortunately, I have this towel to wipe it down, and you can see that it already started to make my liquid more slushy. So if I wanted to shake it for longer, and if I had a little extra ice, I could probably get it even more frosty or more frozen. So if you wanted to do the same process to make ice cream, you'll probably want to shake it for a lot longer. But I just want to show you on a spoon that it's definitely more slushy. It's sort of between fully frozen and liquid, leaning more towards liquid because I didn't want to shake for too long. And it tastes delicious. I'm super excited because my liquid was actually Coca-Cola. And if you know me, I love frozen Cokes. I don't know if that's because I'm from Florida and I just always had a frozen Coke when I was in Florida, I don't know. But I love frozen Cokes. So this is a really great activity to do with kids, especially when it starts getting warmer and summer comes in. You can make your own slushies, you can make fruit slushies, soda slushies. You can even make your own ice cream with this process, and I'll link a couple recipes in the description box down below so that you could partake. But this is a really, really fun activity. So let me go ahead and put this in the freezer so it doesn't completely melt, and then I'm going to share some of the science behind it. All right, now to explain what's happening. So I have here some ice on a plate. You probably can't see it all that well, but it's just regular old ice. And I'm just going to show you another little mini example that you can do at home. So I have here some yarn. I'm going to split it up. And I'm going to use one piece of it. And what I'm going to tell you that I'm doing is I'm going to pick up the ice cube using this piece of yarn without touching the ice cube. Do you think I can do it? I'm going to use my magic and secret ingredient, which is ice. So I'm going to lay the string over the ice cube. Sadly, there's not a very good way of doing this to show you. So I'm laying it right on top. Alone, it's not going to pick it up. It's sort of slippery. Then I'm going to pour a little ice on top of the string, on top of the ice. Just enough to cover it pretty well. So just to give you guys a little bit of a close-up. Covered it with ice. And then I'm going to leave it alone for just a few seconds. And now I can lift up the ice without touching the ice. I'm only touching the string. And so this is a similar process to what just happened with the slushie that we made. And if you wanted to make ice cream, the same thing. So when you add salt, so even just regular table salt to ice, what it does is it lowers the freezing temperature of the water. And so as the water melts, that water is now not going to freeze at the exact same time that it would have before. It takes a little bit longer. And so that heat is absorbed, which makes that liquid mixed with saline, so the salt, makes it even colder. And that's what causes other things to come to contact to freeze a lot faster. So ultimately, the ice is melting, ultimately the salt is melting the ice, but that new saline water is just so cold that it can't refreeze. But that cold has to go somewhere, right? And so it's sending it outwards, and it'll go to whatever it's in contact. So that's how we can make ice cream and slushies. This is also why people pour salt onto ice ground. So if you've ever lived somewhere where it snows, it helps that ground not get frozen over and become super slippery. It helps to prevent the ice from really forming and taking a foothold. Same process. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short activity, and I hope that you're able to do it at home. Making your own slushie or making your own ice cream is something that's really, really fun. And for parents, it's actually a really great way to get some energy out from your kids. Just have them go outside and shake, 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 shake away all of that excess energy, and then they get a nice little reward. So it's a really great activity, and I'm glad to share it with you. I did want to let everyone know this is actually my last kitchen science video. You'll probably see a couple other videos from me because I do like to record content. Definitely check out the library's website and social media for any future updates. It was so fun sharing these science experiments with you, and I hope you'll continue checking out our website for additional videos. Thanks.